Hello and welcome to Creative Design and Supply. Today I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful corrugated graduation sign, and we are going to sublimate on adhesive vinyl. And the key to this is whenever you sublimate on adhesive vinyl, you are going to need laminate. Now it comes in two pieces, and you just pull the bottom apart. Now the shiny side is going to be facing up and the matte is going to be down on your project. And I have a video that I used to do where I would run this through the laminator, and now I have found that as long as you have good even pressure, you can sublimate, put your picture on top of it and press it. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and tape this part down. And this is 651 Oracal. It doesn't matter. This is glossy. I've used matte. I've used a lot of different ones. All right. So I'm just going to tape down at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to put my photo on there and close this up. Now the key to this is whenever you sublimate this, after you get done sublimating it, keep it in that sandwich folded up, and just set it to the side and let it get completely cold. And then you can peel it apart, which we will see in here. All right, so I am just going to make my little sandwich and we will sublimate it, and I'll be right back. I'm sorry I didn't show you. So now I have the 651, then I have the laminate with the shiny side up and the matte side down, and then I have my sublimation and I taped it down. All right, and now I'm just going to fold this over, and this is my little sublimation paper, and then that way I can pick it up and just set it somewhere and let it get cold, and then we will open it up. All right, so let me press that, and I press mine at 385 for 60 seconds. Okay, so now that I have sublimated that and I just set that to the side, we are going to continue on, and I am going to show you how to place all this. All right, so now I want to show you, I have these offsets I'm going with. So I'm basically going to do, I'm going to put a little picture frame right here, and then the adhesive sublimation is going to go in the middle of this. All right, and so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a good placement on here. And now I need to know where the middle of this is. So I am just going to measure this out, and I'm just going to go and I'm going to mark it at, and I am going to use a Sharpie because once I get done, I can wipe it off with alcohol. So that way I know where and it's centered. So I just need to mark the 12 on here. And that just gives me a point of reference. Just need trying to stay in frame here. Okay. That just gives me a little bit of a line. And I will do that whenever I go ahead and mask these. And I'm going to show you, I want to go ahead and put this one on here first. Just because I want to center this. This is going to be my center. So I know where my frame is going to go, and then my words. All right, so I am just going to go ahead and transfer this. And someone was asking how I go about doing this. If I go this way, you can. You can, or you can just double it up. Or if you needed the little roll, you could do that also. And if you've seen any of my other videos, I roll this back on top of my roll, and I can use this several times. And the good thing about this is we are going to use the wet method on this, and I will show you with a bottle, and we are just going to use a drop of Dawn in a spray bottle. All right, so now I am just going to go ahead. You can either measure, or you can take your ends from your ends, give yourself just a little bit of a pinch right there, a little bit of a pinch, and then that way you can lay it back down. So you see that I have a hat that is going to be going up here. And the hat goes right about, let's go ahead and see. Okay, goes right about here. I just wanted to make sure that I had it up enough and it gave it enough space. All right. So now I just need to burnish this, and what I'm doing is just giving it a little bit of heat so that way it will adhere to my transfer tape. And you can also, if you want to, we can go ahead and do the hinge method also. There's another way to where you don't have to do wet method. You can tape here and here, and then you can pick this up off, and then you can just go straight down with it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do that one, and then I will also do the wet method after that. All right, so let's see, because the wet method I'm definitely going to need to do for the layering, so that way we just get a good full tutorial. All right, so you like to go halfway in the middle of it, and I want it to hang on to it so that way I don't have any problems with it lifting up. All right, and then you just come in okay, go up underneath this. All right, and then you are going to grab your squeegee. I'm trying to stay in frame for y'all so I'm not in your way. All right, and then you're, okay. And then we will just turn around and take this up now. All right. Okay. You always want to follow with your squeegee. That way everything lays down properly. Okay. And when you burnish, you're just making it a little bit, giving it a little bit of heat so that way it adheres. All right, and then we are going to pull this off. And another little trick, if you can pull it off at an angle, that way if you get any pulling, you will see it come up. And like I said, I will take this, roll it back on top of itself, and I still have it to use, and I will link this in the video. Okay. I like to do that method when, especially if I'm doing a car decal, I like to do that hinge method. And if I've already used this and you can see that it has a little bit of grooves in it, to make sure that I don't get any bubbles in it, I'm just going to keep it and go flat like that. turn around, burnish it. Oh, that turned out perfect. All right. And when I'm making these, okay, here is another thing real quick before I go into that. Now, you see these bubbles. Go ahead. You see they're slight. If you get these, you can use the wet method. I love using the wet method, especially if you're worried about getting bubbles. But this sign is going to be so far back that it's not going to be for a tumbler or anything else, so you won't see that. But if you have issues with getting bubbles, I recommend using the wet method, which is just get a spray bottle with just a tiny drop of Dawn in it. And I will show you how that works. Of where I want to be. Okay. Just to make sure that this is all going to fit. So now that that looks good, I'm going to go ahead and put some transfer tape on it. Alright, and we will just go ahead and use this piece. Whoops. Okay, now we are going to burnish this. And I can do that hinge method again if I need to. Let's see. All right, and if you want to double check yourself, you can measure from the bottom of the blue. The blue is actually the adhesive. And okay, that's good and level. And then we can just go ahead and do the hinge method one more time. But I'm definitely going to need to do the wet method on the other ones. All right. And if you have a little piece, you can flip that over or just see if it'll stay there for you. Okay. All right. And on this one, I'm just going to take this because can roll it back around it, or I'm actually going to use it to finish this project out. All right. Okay, so right now with me having these layered, I am going to and with these having an offset, you want to go ahead and pick up the top layer, so don't forget, that way you can transfer it onto the other one. So I am going to take the white and I'm going to place it on top of there, that way I can pick both of them up. But I need to move this name. All right, and then I am just going to go ahead. Let's see, will that one work? Yes. I'm trimming the edge of this because I want to be able to make sure that I get all of this on the transfer. All right. All right, and then we are burnishing. Okay. So now I am going to take this and I'm just going to tape this down flat so that way I know what I'm working with, because it's turning over just a little bit. All right. So now I can turn around. I can try to eyeball this, or I am just going to use the wet method. And this, just like I said, has a little drop of Dawn in it. And as long as it's wet over, then I will be able to pick it up and maneuver it. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to go from the middle out. Okay, and you will just move the excess water. I don't use a lot, just enough to where if I needed to pick it up, I could. But now that I've burnished it, all right, and let me get a paper towel and wipe up that excess. Hello, so my phone cut off, overheated and cut off, but I'm going to start back where I was because I want to show you. I went ahead and put this on here. I had to go ahead and change the size of this because I did not have my pressure correct when I pressed this. Now, it doesn't look bad, but if you look up close, it has bubbles. Okay, so this is a result of not using a laminator on bigger projects. If you don't have a good firm pressure, you will get these bubbles in it, but let me show you. This is a good example to show you. I mean, it just looks horrible. And I'm going to go ahead and move this, and we are going to, I'm going to show you how I'm going to laminate it. And then we are going to do another one. The reason why I had to size this bigger is because I'm doing an 8.5. The 8.5 by 11 true. I'm just, all right. And this is just a heat protectant pad that I like to keep on here because this is a little bit warm and I don't want it to mess up my cutting mat. All right. So here I have my piece cut out correctly, like an 8.5 by 11. The shiny side is going to go up. The matte side is going to go down. Hello, it's not a, this was an accident. My phone overheated and it shut off. And the fact that it did, it's okay because I'm going to show you it actually messed up whenever I sublimated it. So it looks good from down here, but you can see the fact that I did not have pressure on it. Now, if you don't want to worry about this, you can just go ahead and use your laminator. That's why my laminator's out here. I tried to use a flimsy school laminator, lamination, and it gave me wrinkles. So, of course, you know, with wrinkles and sublimation, that will still give you problems. So I have a piece here. If it goes up there. Okay. And I am a stickler about if something happens in my videos, I would rather show you than not. So now that I changed it up, I'm going to go ahead and get this straight. Alright, so now that I have that straight, I am going to stick the paper in here with it on top of it. Okay. Okay. All right. So now it's really nice and flat on there. If I wanted to, I can take it and put it in there again. But there's actually no need to. I'm going to turn this off and move this over. And let me get a piece of blowout paper. And my press is almost heated up. And I am just going to go ahead and place this on here. Put a little bit of heat tape. All right. And then we will press this at 385 for 60 seconds. All right, so while that is heating up, I'm going to show you. When I was applying this one in layers, my phone overheated and cut off. So to make this not as long as I wanted to, I went ahead and cut this out to where this is 8.5 by 7. I mean 8.5 by 11, sorry. And then we are going to go ahead and transfer these two names. Now you're going to need to pick up your white one first. Just too big to be trying to, and I like to roll them back on top of and I can use it again. All right. Well, that's not what. All right. So now this one, I'm not going to use the wet method just because these letters are so big that you can. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball that one. All right, I have a little bubble, so I'm going to take my weeder. Oop. So now if I would have used the wet method, I would not get bubbles in this. At 385 for 60 seconds, and I need that to be completely cold before I move it around. But if you have little bubbles, you can just turn around and you can pop them, because these signs are not going to be, you're not going to see this up close. I mean, you won't see this from afar. All right, now I'm going to let that get cool, and then that way we can go ahead and put this on here. But while I'm waiting for that to cool, I can turn around and I can wipe my little even marks off. And I'm going to do that with just a little bit of alcohol. See? Alright, and wipe that back down with alcohol. And I did wipe it down before I started on this. And I'm just going to trim down the edges of this, and then we will go from there. So just to show you what I'm talking about, it printed but a little pixelated because I took it from a social media, and then I screenshot, and this is what I've got. Okay, now for the grand finale. All right, so now that we have this, and I went ahead and trimmed it up so that way it would have a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and get it where I want it, and then we are just going to do the hinge method on it. I need another pair of hands. Okay. All right. Turn that towards you. Get my all right. So now that will lay down perfect. There we go. And now you have a cute graduation sign. All right, if you have any questions, comment below and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Thanks.